Sports. Filling in for Mark, here's Mike Tuck.
BOS Sports. It is a Football Friday here. Mike Tuck, Chris Vasquez, online and streaming 969thegame.com and on YouTube as well. Hello, world. To us there, 96.9 Game On. We have a very, very, very busy show today. Bobby will be in at the top of the hour. I'm going to do some taste testing, I've been told.
Sour Fest is tomorrow, baby.
That'll be fun. Are you a spicy, sour, sweet? Like, what's your taste du jour?
Nothing ever spicy. Nothing
ever spicy. No.
But I love the mouth puckering sours.
So you never do like hot ones?
No. No.
Now, I could see you as a hot wing guy. That surprises me a little bit.
No.
No.
I'm a wimp when it comes to anything spicy.
Your wife's Colombian.
Yes.
Are they into spicy food?
They
as a country,
are.
I don't know anything about their cuisine.
She's not too much into spice.
Okay.
She can handle it.
Okay.
But there's nothing really spicy that goes on.
Okay.
I think the spiciest thing that she'll make is orange chicken.
Oh, that's
exactly.
That's it. Unless they're making it with some kind of special orange. I mean,
no,
nothing there though. You like sour though.
Love sour.
So you're gonna love this today then.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, that works.
Sours and IPAs are my go-tos.
Okay. Well then, this is perfect for you.
Oh, hell yeah.
Busy 10 o'clock hour coming up, and then 11 o'clock, we got a lot of fun stuff for you as well. We are on the precipice of the football season. So there's a few things I wanted to bring up here before Bobby rolls in at the top of the hour. First of all, I love doing it, an annual tradition. It's hard to do, but I usually find where in my top three, I'm going to get it right. So historically, worst to first and first to worst happens in the NFL every season almost. And if it doesn't, then it'll happen another season where it happens a couple of times. Worst to first has happened 22 times over the last 23 years. First to worst in the NFL has happened 27 times in the last 23 years. It is remarkable how consistent that is. Worst to first last year, I present to you the Chicago Bears, the Carolina Panthers, and the New England Patriots. All go from last place to first place in one season. From first to worst, last year we have the Detroit Lions, right? That completely, and they didn't even fall off a cliff. They went 9-8, but it was enough to get them in last place.
Toughest division in football,
right? And yeah, I mean that's the way it works in competitive division. So I will run through my order. You just tell me your quick thoughts. So worst to first, I don't really believe in their defense at all. I really don't. But like you have to put this in some order. I did put Detroit first because they were 9-8. They had actually the best plus minus. Not just in the division. The only teams that had a better plus minus in the NFC than them were the Rams and Seahawks. Right? Like they were actually scoring a lot of points. They just lost a lot of heartbreaking games that cost them and ended up being 9-8 last year. I don't like New Orleans either, but I would put New Orleans second because of the AFC South. No other reason. 6-11. NFC South, excuse me. Just the jump in division. Then I go Tennessee, Giants, Vegas, which seems crazy. They all seem crazy. Arizona until it happens.
Right.
Arizona, Cleveland, New York, and some of that's just stacked on the top of the division. If you were to pinpoint who you would select, who would it be?
Most likely to go worst to first.
Yeah.
I think obviously the Lions have to be number one there.
Yeah.
I don't see the Jets doing it. I don't see the Browns doing it. Titans, Raiders, no one in the AFC. Don't see the Giants doing it.
I mean, part of it, too, with Arizona and, like, Vegas in particular, the other three teams in the division almost look like playoff teams. So it's not like you have to jump one team. You got to jump three teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it. I think the Lions have the best chance, followed by the Saints, and then literally everyone else is a crapshoot.
In Tennessee and New York, I almost look at them as, like, young quarterbacks, new staffs. Like, we've seen that formula play out over the years. Much as you, again, sit here and don't necessarily expect it, like, that's the formula in a lot of cases. New England last year, that was the formula. New coaching staff, young quarterback, boom, into the Super Bowl, no less.
Well, I mean, Jackson Dart keeps taking hits like he did.
I know. There's a lot of reasons not to believe in these teams too. Don't get me wrong, but again, like the history says, it's almost an annual tradition that it does happen in a 4-team division, where so much of your roster can be turned over in a given year that it happens. first to worst, going from the penthouse to the outhouse, if you will. I put Carolina in the top spot, and I actually believe in Carolina. I know you were a big Carolina fan last year. You had them winning the division, so kudos to you.
Yep.
But they were a minus 69 on the season. They do play in the AFC South.
NFC South.
And if did I say that again? Wow, I don't know why I'm saying that. It wouldn't take much, right? You lose 2 more games that you won, and suddenly you're in last place in that division. I put Pittsburgh next. I don't really believe that, but I kind of put Pittsburgh, Chicago, and Jacksonville in the same boat. I'd be surprised for all of them, but there are reasons because of the competitiveness potentially of their divisions that I could see one of them doing it. Then I put Philly, Pittsburgh in the next boat together of like unlikely, but I guess if things just went haywire in both situations, I could see where like coaching didn't work and quarterback situation didn't work the way they wanted. And then Seattle, Denver, New England. I put the last 3 because there's like such a bad team or bad teams at the bottom of their division. It just feels like even if they had a bad year, they wouldn't be in last. They would probably be in third.
Yeah, just looking at it, I mean, essentially the NFC South and NFC North, I think 2 games separated first to last place.
Yeah.
So those 2 teams or those 2 divisions, I can very easily see the New Orleans Saints winning the NFC South. Very easily could see the Chicago Bears finishing last with a winning record.
Yeah, and I like the Bears. I really do.
I'm not a believer in Caleb Williams.
Their defense was not the best last year, in the same way the Lions' defense wasn't the best.
Yeah.
So,
I don't see Philly going that far back. I don't see Seattle finishing third, let alone last.
I could see Seattle finishing third. I'd be surprised, but if you
San
told me
Francisco's dealing with just so many injuries.
I know, but that's what they've been dealing with, and they still find a way to win 10 games every year, it seems like.
Yeah, but now you have the added Kyle Shanahan distraction. I don't know. I think San Francisco's going to take
Shanahan's
a step back.
a distraction, you think? I don't think it's a distraction anymore. I think we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, and now it's done.
I don't know. I think that might be lingering.
Really?
Yeah.
You think like Brock Purdy is worried about Kyle Shanahan like looking at his phone and getting into a fender bender?
Just the way that whole thing came about, why it was not released until about 2 weeks after the crash.
I know. I get it, but that's like that feels like dead and buried. I
don't know. There could be something that we don't know.
Do you think the Vrabel thing's going to be an issue for New England? I mean, you can't say yes to one and no to the other. I don't think the Vrabel thing feels like a bigger issue than Shanahan.
It does, but I feel like we've gotten everything from.
Have we? I don't know that we have. I feel like there's probably a lot more details that would get us interested in that story.
I don't know. Again, the way the Kyle Shanahan wreck was handled just seems kind of fishy.
I'm not arguing with you. I just don't think it's an issue for the football team.
All right. Looking at the AFC worst or first to worst, New England, no, they're going to finish probably second in that division.
Right. At worst, I mean, the Jets and the Dolphins are in the division.
Pittsburgh, the Browns are going to take last place. That's not a doubt in my mind. Tennis.
You can see a world where the Browns finish third?
Stop it. No.
Okay.
No. Jacksonville, I could very easily see them finishing third.
The Jags a couple of years ago went from first to worst. Yeah. So, like, as much as it seems like they won, 9 in a row to end last year?
I don't think Tennessee's ready to take that big of a step forward.
8 in a row, I guess it was.
Yes. It was
I'm with you. I don't think Tennessee, their offensive line is too concerning to me. It would be a big leap forward. But, like, again, in the realm of possibilities, it does fit sort of the equation that we've seen over and over again. And as much as, like, we can kind of pick on the South, like, there's the reasons to think a lot of the teams in the AFC South could be pretty good. Right? I think there's optimism in Jacksonville and Houston for sure. Even Indy, like, Indy was, 8-2 at one point before everything fell apart.
Well, Indy had a very soft schedule.
But they were annihilating people. Like, they had the best offense in football last year.
Again, it was a soft schedule.
They were still killing everyone.
Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, a win's a win.
I know, but they weren't like sometimes you look at it, and this is, again, where sort of you're evaluating how many close wins, how many close losses, like, are you getting a little bit lucky? Turnovers benefiting you. Sometimes those things help you win more games. Like the Bears got the benefit of a lot of turnovers last year. There's a regression to the mean. And it works the other way, too. If you turn it over a lot, unless your quarterback is just terrible, like, you're not going to lose every fumble. Some teams is like they fumble 11 times and lose 10. That's not how it's supposed to work. It's usually a 50-50 proposition. So if you fumble 11 this year, you only lose 5 or 4 or something.
Look, looking at after their bye week, week 11, from week 12 on, they played. I think every team made the playoffs. Kansas City did not, but Houston, Jacksonville, Seattle, San Francisco, Jacksonville, Houston made the playoffs. Right? Lost every single game.
Yeah, I'm not telling you they're going to win the division. We're talking about a third place team. I don't even know how we got ended on them, but I'm just saying I don't think they're dog manure either.
I'm not saying they're dog manure. We were making such a big deal about how hot they started. Again, it was a soft schedule.
Yeah. So
I'm not a big believer in the Colts.
All right. So we were talking about, I want to put it on the air real quick before we get out of this thing. You said earlier this week, I didn't hear this segment, you made the case Miami will be the worst team in the league. That's what you believe?
Yes, I do think Miami is going to be the worst team in the league. You have an unproven coach who 25 years.
How many wins? Did you put a number on it?
I could see 2, if that. And both of them would be against the Jets.
Well, then how bad are the Jets going to be then if they beat the Jets twice?
Miami is so bad. They don't have a quarterback who's played an entire season. They don't have a proven head coach. The coach who had a losing record at Boston College is 20-something years into his career before getting an assistant or a coordinator position.
Okay.
So unproven coach.
Sometimes coaches are forced to take the long road. I don't know that makes what I'd have to do research on. I mean, some guys
probably make the argument for Brian Schottenheimer. He's also a long tenure,
right?
But
some guys shoot up the ranks and are terrible. You know, they're given an opportunity before they're ready.
I've told you before, you can make the argument maybe Vegas is worse, but their wide receiver room is terrible.
Yeah.
No, if not bottom, then it's 31st in the league.
I look at, if I'm going to circle 4, I struggle with Arizona. I know they're only favored they're not favored in a game this year, but Arizona is actually projected to score the least amount of points. They're 32nd. They weren't even close to the bottom last year. I have no idea why they're projected the fewest. Kyler only played the first month of the season, and they did fine. And that was with no running game. Remember, Connors got hurt. Yeah. James Conner got hurt. Like, they had to go with 3rd and 4th team tailbacks the whole season. That's been taken care of. Their backfield's loaded this year. The wide receivers are pretty good. McBride's amazing. Like, they're going to score points. Like, I think they're going to win some shootouts is my point. Like, I don't think they're going to be the worst team in the league.
I don't either.
Yeah, so again, I almost laugh at the idea that they'll be 32nd in scoring. Like, I don't see them that. I think it's Atlanta, Miami, Vegas, and Cleveland are the 4.
I'm not as low on Atlanta as you are.
Yeah, I think Atlanta's going to be really bad. Really bad.
I don't think so. I see them as a 6-7 win team.
Stefanski's proven that he can lose a lot of games in Cleveland, yes?
I mean, who doesn't lose a lot of games in Cleveland? Look at the quarterbacks he had last year.
And look at the ones he has this year.
They're a step above what he had.
That's my point. No, I think Atlanta is going to be really bad. And Cleveland's just Cleveland. Like, they're going to be in the hunt. You could see with whoever they put under center, that's going to be a problem. Yep. Even though you like a lot of the other pieces. Like, I get it. But, Myles Garrett's not there to rescue them on defense this year. And then Vegas is the other one. Like, there's no reason for me to think Vegas. I get Kubiak and I get Mendoza. Like, there's some optimism. But, again, they might go 0-6 in the division, and no one would bat an eye. In fact, the other teams all think they should beat them twice, right? So, I mean, Vegas is definitely – imagine they lose the first game. I know this is hard to imagine, but, Vegas and Miami, it's a little bit of a coin flip in the opening week. Even as a Dolphins fan, that doesn't think they're going to be good. It's like, yeah, they might win that one. So
that
if they lose that one,
that game is a toss-up.
Yeah. So those would be the 4 I would circle. I'm not as adamant about Miami. Miami is going to be in the conversation. I'd be surprised if they're outside the top 5. But
I could see at most 3, the very least, they win 1 game.
And the Jets are probably the other one. Although I think the roster, if Geno is anything like Seattle Geno and not Vegas Geno.
Again, at least they have guys like Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson. They
got some good players on defense.
Weapons. Yeah.
I think Aaron Glenn's going to get fired at the end of the year,
100%.
But they'll probably win 5 games. And I think that takes them out of the worst record in the league.
Yeah.
All right. coming up, we have Richard Hale in the 10 o'clock hour. Bobby will hop in studio with us as well. Mike O'Donnell joins us next hour. Don't go anywhere. It's the Beat of Sports on FM 96.9 The Game.
It's almost like an unwritten rule that when you become a father, you become king of the bad dad jokes.
What is Forrest Gump's password? One Forrest one.
Are you ready to laugh? We know at least one person is. Here's CV's dad joke of the day.
That's so great.
Get a good pour there.
Yeah. All right, Tuck. I got one chance with you. I got to make it a good one here.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Why couldn't the chili pepper participate in archery?
Why couldn't the chili pepper participate in archery? Why?
He didn't habanero.
Not bad. You made me smile. That's not bad. Yeah, you got to really pronounce it, but that's not bad. That's not bad. It's a good way to go to the weekend.
Colorado, part of many games involving out-of-state teams coming to the state or Orlando-based teams playing out of the state. Mount Vista, Colorado plays at Seminole. South Lake and East Ridge will go. Winter Park plays on the west side of town against Windermere tonight. Hernando will take on Lake Brantley. Elsewhere, Apopka and Boone will do battle. Colonials at Olympia. Cypress Creek at Wekiva. Eustis plays at Leesburg tonight. Freedom is at Lyman. Haggerty will play against New Smyrna Beach. Lake Buena Vista is at Horizon. Liberty is at Harmony. Pine Ridge at Deltona. Poinciana at Celebration. If we didn't get to your school, please don't be offended. We got limited time. That's our high school football report, brought to you by our friends at Southeast Little Appliance Warehouse, where you get the best deal.
10 o'clock, WYGM Orlando, WJR, HU2 Cocoa Beach, FM 96.9 The Game. It's the Beat of Sports. Mike Tuck in for Mark Daniels. UCF luncheon today to kick off the football season. Chris Vasquez and Bobby hops in studio with us here this morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. How you doing?
I'm great, man. I know you're a Packers fan.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Are you from up north?
I'm not. I'm from Kentucky, so
Okay.
just in the middle of nowhere.
Well,
Football wise,
it's in the middle of the country, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's somewhere.
It's basketball hotbed,
Yeah, it was
right?
basketball
More than-
country growing up.
No, but we were talking about going back to school and stuff like that. And my friends up north still can't believe, like, we're already in school here. They're like, oh, we're still enjoying summer up here. Was that like that for you?
Yeah, I feel like we have a really short break down here, and it's always just like back out of school. We're dragging kids everywhere nonstop.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hear we're doing a little test today that I'm looking forward to. CV's a big sour guy.
Big sour guy.
Big sour guy.
Me
So
some
this is
sours.
right up his alley here today. What do we got?
Yeah, so we're celebrating our Sour Fest, I guess our Sour Fest Eve. So tomorrow at a Castleberry location, and we're gonna have these beers on tap in Avalon Park as well. We have our annual Sour Fest, and I guess this is, what year is this? We're in year 8, I guess. Of doing this. It's one of our biggest events we do each year. And we're gonna do a full sour tap takeover. We're releasing a lot of new beers. I got 3 of them right here. If you're watching the live stream, you can kind of see. Got some cool new releases. It's always a fun time. We always kind of go all out with this. So the one we're gonna open up right now, I'm gonna let you decide, Tuck.
Okay.
We have our Brunch Bros, which is a Bellini style sour with peach, pineapple, and mango.
Okay.
We have Baby Sledge, which is a sour cherry ale with vanilla beans and ice cream.
Oh, wow.
And
I love the
then-
cans.
And Day Zero, which is a sour candy ale with lemons. So it's like you think you
Okay, definitely
sour,
lemon. Yeah. No, it's the neon works, right? The neons
that's-
absolutely will represent
Makes it pop. Makes it
sour there. Are you a sour guy?
I am.
Yeah.
I like a broad range of them. So I like something really tart and like you feel it on the back of your back of your cheeks there when
Make you
you're
pucker.
tasting it. Oh yeah, yeah. So that tends to be where we land on the Day Zero and the Baby Sledge tend to hit those notes.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
What you
Alright,
feeling
Tuck?
here?
You want me to pick which
Oh,
one?
go ahead and pick one.
Let's
yeah.
start with the
Pop
baby
up.
one. That
Let's do
one
it.
caught my eye.
All right. So this
We'll
one.
end with the lemon one. I got a feeling that's going to be the most sour.
I'm so excited for these.
There
With-
we go. Pour a couple here. Go ahead, Chris.
With sours, does that kind of give you the freedom to be a little bit more creative in terms of how crazy you can get with what goes into it?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and especially something we like to do in Florida, is it just really lends itself to a lot of different variations, and especially a lot of fruit flavors and stuff. And so we come from a culinary side as well, so we like to cook, we like to experiment with different flavors. So we have like a lot of these are going to be like our base is kind of like a Berliner Weiss, so like a German wheat style beer, which really kind of opens itself up to whatever we want to put in it, and we can have a lot of fun there.
We had talked last week about the different kinds of sours that there are, like the Goza, the Berliner, or the Berliner Weiss. Is there really a difference in these sours other than the name? Like, could you kind of explain what the differences are?
Yeah, so like those 2 particular ones we talked about, like the Goza is actually going to be brewed with like coriander and sea salt, so it's going to be still German wheat style based, but it's going to have traditionally a little bit less acidity in it that we use than like our Berliners that we brew, but it does have that kind of salinity on there and that backbone, which is a perfect Florida beer as well, just because sipping on something with little salt, little coriander really pops. The Berliner Weiss is going to be a little bit just without the spices and a little bit more of that German wheat style base flavor, like a nice smooth creaminess to it. And then once we add in the lactic tartness and stuff that we're doing, usually we use a lactobacillus, which is a bacteria that's found in like yogurts and different probiotics. It has that really clean, sharp tartness to it. Is what we go to get those clean notes on these sours. The other end of the spectrum, there's mixed fermentation. There's different other bacteria you can use to sour those beers, which we will have some on tap tomorrow as well. We got a lot of guest taps coming in from some of our local brewery friends. A lot of cool stuff to try. Some sour, tart, funky flavors going on.
So something that we don't really talk about is how important, especially with sours, is it to have clean beer lines? when these come
I
out?
mean, for everything, not just sour, just any line whatsoever. We clean our lines like regularly, and it's on schedule, like of what we want to do. Like if you have a beer that is not on the clean line, and there are places you can probably go around town and you try that beer, like that's not how it should taste. Something's off, and it could be the lines haven't been cleaned, which is really unfortunate because nothing bums me out more than a bad beer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, cleanliness is everything when it comes to beer. So you could do everything you could possibly do for that beer throughout all of fermentation, and it gets to a bad line, and it's just going to ruin the whole experience. So we take that really seriously. All of our lines are freshly cleaned, ready to roll. Sourfest is going to be packed.
Is it more beneficial? Because I know there's certain beers where you want to make sure once you put a new beer on that line, you want to make sure you clean it to get the residue and everything out of that line. Are sours one of those beers where once that keg is kicked and you put a new beer on, you want to clean that line instantly?
Yeah, depending on what's in it, like the heavier flavors and stuff that can linger. If we get some like cinnamon or some coffee flavors and stuff, usually either if cleaning doesn't work, we might replace that entire line. Anything funky, mixed fermentation, you're just gonna get a brand new line each time and just replace that to make sure that everything, the next beer coming on after that is gonna get the exact flavor profile. Because yeah, you'll have that. There's been places I've been to like, well, that's an IPA, but I taste butterscotch and orange. That's not right.
All right. So speaking of clearing the line, I had to clear the cup because I realized you don't have another cup. So I had to clear this cup. Actually, I like this one a
almost came
lot.
prepared.
I like the baby. What was it called
It's
again?
called Baby Sledge.
Baby Sledge. I like that one.
So, Baby Sledge, what went into that beer? Can you kind of go through the brewing process for each of the three beers that you do have?
Yeah.
For us
So
today?
with that one, it was a fun one we wanted to do. It's kind of like a cherry ice cream beer we wanted to do. There was the long story short is the short story long is, or either way you want to put it, is a during construction we had this tiny little baby sledgehammer, and we ended up using it through every part of the phase. Even till this day, I used it like the other day on something. So we use it all the time. Like Baby Sledge saved us, so we wanted to do a homage to that.
Nice.
So that one came across. This next one I'm gonna try right now, or me and Tuck are gonna try. Sorry, Chris, we'll get you in a minute.
Yeah.
This is day 0. So this is
the lemon one.
This is the lemon one, yeah. So we put, pounds and pounds and pounds of that lemon candy in there, fresh lemons, fresh zest. It's a really fun one to do. And if you're a fan of that candy,
If you like lemon, you're gonna like this.
you're gonna like this one. It's
that's the
almost
one-
shandy like.
That's the one I'm very, very excited to try. I'm excited to try all three, but the day 0 one, I love lemon.
It's hit me too right on the back of the palate, giving me that
Yeah.
tartness. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, bubbling up. That's good. I like that one. I don't even know which one I like more.
Are we turning Tuck into a sour fan?
Right here on air.
I didn't say I was against sour. I'm probably more sweet than sour.
Mm-hmm.
I like salty and sweet together. Like that's probably my go-to. But
Can you actually kind of explain? And I know every person's different, Bobby, but I've had people who say, I'm not a big beer fan, but for some reason, once you give them a sour, they're like, oh, wow, I could actually drink that.
Yeah, and I've noticed that with different styles too, and that's one of the biggest things I tell people. I'm like, you can't say I don't like beer or I don't like this style. Like maybe you haven't had one that hits the flavor profile that you like, but that's what we're about. We say it's recrafting perceptions, so changing the way people think about things, the way they approach beer, and then just trying new things because there's so many different flavors. It's the most versatile drink on the planet. So you're gonna find something you like. Finding a couple.
we gotta get that last one in.
But there's so many different flavors to play with and that you can get out of beer. So keep trying it. Keep trying new flavors. And 100% sours. If you haven't had it before, it might be your thing, and tomorrow's the day to find out.
And it's so funny, like because people think sour, they automatically go mouth puckering. Oh, I'm not gonna like it. Just try.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing that happens?
Yeah, it's not that
just
extreme.
try.
It's not that extreme.
And I might as well.
The
'cause
lemon,
we're
I
working
think,
our
made
way
me
up.
pucker a little more, but nothing that it's not sucking on a lemon.
Yeah.
Let's
No,
put it that way.
It's like the lemon candy.
Right. It's like it's lemon zest.
yeah.
Yeah.
You get that. You're gonna taste it, and it has that almost like citric acid in it as well that really helps round out that
Yeah.
profile.
And what's the last one we got here?
Last one right here is Brunch Bros. So this is the Bellini style sour with pineapple, mango, and peach.
Okay.
And so this one is
That almost sounds more sweet than sour.
it's a little bit more on the sweeter side. This one has a little bit less. It doesn't hit you with that straight acidity too, so it's got a balance. You can kind of find what kind of acidity you like in the sour trying these here. This one's got a big fruit
Yeah, you
flavor
can taste
to
the
it.
individual
Yeah.
pieces. Yeah.
Jealous.
good.
I'm sitting
Yeah.
over here dry.
If I could pass it between the glass, Chris.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah.
I am getting a tattoo later, so maybe.
Today?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. Right on my forearm.
You want to share what? Or have you shared? I don't know anything about this.
No, I haven't shared. I'll show you a picture. It was an
Okay.
AI design. I'm going to work with the artist when I get to the shop to make sure he can, work with it and put kind
Okay.
of the human element touch on it.
Why?
That's
We're detouring now.
Let's go.
tribute
I
to
got,
my
I got plenty
daughter.
of beer.
Okay.
Tribute
Awesome.
to my daughter and my mom.
Okay. A connection, something that interweaves them both. Okay.
Yeah.
Correct. So
All right.
excited
I
for
got
that.
some beers to get you a little numb and ready to go.
Perfect. I'm about it.
All right. I got to vote for a winner here.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Which one
Wow.
are you liking so far?
I'm between the first two. I like the last one. That was good. But the first two had a little bit more of a sour spike.
Yeah.
Man, I kind of like the baby sledge, I think. I think Chris will like the lemon the most, but I think I'm leaning baby sledge.
There it is.
I love
Huck's favorite.
They're all
It's
good
locked in.
though. They're all really good. Highly
Yeah,
recommend.
I'm stoked this year. We always come out with some crazy flavors and do a bunch of different varieties, and this year I think each one of them hit their mark, and I'm super stoked for it.
Well done. Well
You
done,
want
sir.
to tell everyone real quick where they can go for Sourfest and what's going on?
Absolutely, and real quick, I'd be remiss if I didn't wish my girlfriend a happy anniversary as well.
Aw. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And so yeah, and we are both working on our anniversary tomorrow. So come check us out at Sourfest. We're having it. The main celebration is going to be at our Castleberry location, but we also have all these beers right here on tap. And we'll skip the line, go out to Avalon Park at the marketplace there as well. We have new food drops going on. We have a bunch of fun new stuff coming that pairs with these beers. Limited amount, so make sure you get there early. We're gonna have live music all day. So yeah, come check us out. Two locations, one in Castleberry on the corner of 436 and Redbug, one in Avalon Park, the marketplace at Avalon. Check us out online at bowigans.com, BOWIGENS.com, and social medias at Bo Wiegans Beer Company.
Good seeing you, Bobby.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Richard Hale hops in with us next.
Law segment with Richard Hale.
Mike Tucker for Mark Daniels off at the UCF luncheon today, ready to kick off the Knights football season. Richard Hale joins us now. Richard, sorry for the delay. We got a little carried away with our day drinking in the last segment with Bobby, but love having you on. How are you today, sir?
Yeah, jealous of you a little bit, Mike,
Right.
but happy to be with you on a football Friday, man. You can feel the excitement in the air for sure.
No doubt, man. I honestly cannot wait until we have to stop, if you will, talking about stories like this first one, because it's really consumed a lot of the week of these judges. And last time I was in with you, we were talking about a different case with judges jumping in and affecting college sports. Now there are professional NFL players trying to make NFL teams that are potentially going back to college. But there's another aspect here that we wanted to ask you about, and that is the actual NFL teams that have these players under contract. Like, if there is something to be said on their behalf of players trying to break contracts with them to go back and get contracts in college.
Well, it depends, I guess, on the wording of the contract, right? And we'd have to be privy to what exactly those say. I mean, I think initially what I'm seeing is that the players are putting themselves into the transfer portal, which probably is not any violation of their current NFL contract. Certainly, if they decided that they were going to leave an NFL franchise to go back to college for one more year, I would certainly question the decision. But if that's the choice they wanted to make, then okay. I don't know that it's that realistic in terms of relevance. If the player's still on an active NFL roster, it doesn't make sense to me why they would want to go back. But I could see a situation where a player is cut from an NFL team and then, decides that he wants to go into the transfer portal and go back and play for an extra year. I think that's where this case kind of gets to, and that's what it allows these athletes the opportunity to do. You and I can debate all day long whether or not once you turn professional and go play for a professional organization, you should be allowed to then go back into college and play for another year. And I think that's kind of where a lot of the chatter this week about this particular case comes in.
Yeah.
But, I think that what we're probably going to see, you and I have talked in the past, Mark and I have talked in the past about where does this all go, right? We're trying to figure out, what does the landscape look like at this point, and then can we try to predict the future a little bit about where this goes? I think at some point what we're going to see is as the NCAA continues to lose their grasp on really policing all of this, you're going to have the conferences step in and the big argument in the past against conferences kind of taking over, policing themselves, coming up with their own rules. Hey, look, if the NCAA can't get out of their own way, and if the NCAA continues to lose these types of cases and their stranglehold over college football and college basketball continues to erode, we're going to see the conferences step in. I think it's inevitable, and whether we like it or not, that's the end. That's the end game here.
Yeah, and you'd like to see that happen. Actually, Greg Sankey spoke up the other day, and hopefully he can enforce the rules, if you will, on the rest of these clubs. Little inside baseball. So Mark's sort of an in between for us in some of these stories, and he started the next one with. As an avid skier, I'm assuming he's talking about you because he's not talking about me. Are you an avid skier?
Yes, avid skier. Been skiing since I was a kid, and have introduced my girls to it. So
wow,
it's a sport we can all enjoy together, and spend some time on the mountain together, and then also cozy up with some hot chocolate after
That's awesome.
a tough day. So it's a great family sport, but it is a lot of fun, and so I do get a chance to enjoy it. Not all the time, living in Florida.
Right, wrong state,
when
right?
we get the chance.
Yeah, I'm Florida born and raised, so I've been snow skiing one time in my entire life. Had fun doing it. Was really good staying up until the end, then had to crash land most of the time. But anyway, it feels like it's one of those things that's sort of hard to prove. We can sort of see price gouging when it happens, but collusion is what this case is in regards to in ski lifts raising their prices sort of collectively across the board during peak seasons. So you tell me how they can go about actually proving this is the case.
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, there was a big movement towards consolidation in the ski world. And what I'm talking about here are multiple ski resorts coming under the management of one particular entity. The two biggest ones are the Epic and the Icon. And so think about it this way. If there was one group that came in and took over all the theme parks in Florida. And then, and the allegations here are that group is essentially price fixing, meaning, whether you're going to Disney or you're going to Universal, we own all of that now. And so we can essentially dictate what you're going to pay to go to any of those particular parks. And since we're really the only game in town, you're going to have to pay what it is that we say to get into any of our parks if you want to go. And so those are some of the allegations, and they've been made in the past against these parks. These are getting a little more specific now because, according to the complaint here, there is some evidence now that there was at least some talk between Icon and Epic when they set their ski prices for the year, that they weren't going to, outgun each other, but they also were going to keep these prices really competitive. And now that they're the only game in town, if there is evidence to back up those contentions, then you would have at least some antitrust problems here for the particular entity. So interested to see as the discovery phase in this goes on, what evidence they have, and then we can, maybe circle back and talk about this some more.
Sure. So this one feels like we could probably every few months have a discussion in regards to streaming and television networks and how they operate and if there's like layers to it. But there's a lawsuit for WWE fans who are upset that they purchased products through ESPN, but then had to purchase more on top of it. It feels like these companies know what they're doing and have probably it written that they can get away with it. But is there a case here?
Might be a case. So there is some evidence, at least in what's been filed with the court so far, that Disney knew what they were doing all along. And so when Disney made this big push, keep in mind, Disney is the parent company of ESPN. And so Disney made a huge push to go out and get the WWE. We know that it's a very popular sport. We know there are a lot of fans that watch. And when they did so, the ultimate goal was to move the WWE to the ESPN Unlimited plan. But now, as you alluded to in your question, there are some add-ons, and fans are upset because they're not getting all of the content that they thought they were going to get originally. Now, one could argue that this was part of the plan all along, and if you had read the fine print in terms of the Disney contract, when you sign up for Disney Plus or whatever it is, that you would have understood that this was a potential outcome. Doesn't mean that fans aren't still upset. Doesn't mean that fans don't feel like they're getting the most bang for their buck, and they're upset at Disney for, continuing to put this product out there, but now creating these add-ons you have to pay for. So as the discovery phase in this case continues to unfold, we'll see what was presented to the consumer when, and does it appear that Disney pulled a bait and switch here, or were the fans just uneducated from the get-go about what was going to occur?
So this last one, I feel some empathy for the Australian rules football player, but it doesn't feel like maybe he has the case he thinks he does, but I could be wrong. He basically is suing because he was changing, and so therefore his manhood was exposed on television, and he's claiming all sorts of damages because of that. But he also was changing or pulling down his pants in an area where there is a camera, and all the players are being made aware there's a camera. So what about this one? Does he have a case?
So in any good civil case, you have to prove two things. You have to prove liability and you have to prove damages. So let's talk first about liability here. The liability that he's suggesting is on behalf of the camera crew, the production crew, the stadium itself, for not protecting his privacy. And so the court's going to look at a couple of things. They're going to look at his experience in that particular facility. Did he know, or should he have known, that there were cameras in this area? Mind you, this was not a bathroom. This was not an area where people typically change, but he was adjusting his attire in this particular area. And so, whether or not he knew that or not will come into play. And did he have an expectation of privacy in this particular place? That's going to be the real question that we're going to end up asking ourselves. And then if the answer to that question is no, he shouldn't have, or yes, he did have an expectation of privacy there, then what are his damages? And according to the complaint here, his damages, as he suggests, are some real embarrassment. damage to his reputation based on what happened, and that he has had some, real psychological problems as a result of this, including depression, including anxiety, things that aren't necessarily things you can see on the outside, but certainly have an impact to his mental health. And, he would have to go about showing a jury that he has been damaged in these ways. We're going to talk to his doctors. We're going to talk to people that are close to him to see, how has this unfortunate incident impacted him in a way that's damaging to his health. And if we have both of those things, if we have liability on behalf of the production company and the stadium, and if we have some damages that a jury can appreciate, then he would be awarded some money in that case. So a lot of hills to climb up here, and whether or not this case ever makes it to a jury, we'll still wait to see.
Yeah.
I anticipate this is the type of thing that gets settled pretty quickly.
Yeah, kind of felt the same way, but you're the lawyer. That's why we lean on you, Richard Hale. Always appreciate the time, my friend. Have a terrific weekend as we look ahead of the football season.
Same to you, Mike, and good luck to all those boys that are strapping them on tonight. And hope everybody stays safe and has a great 2026 season.
100%. Thank you, Richard Hale, hhjlegal.com. Mike O'Donnell joins us next. I have a few questions. International players. I want to ask him about the one college coach that jumped into the Hall of Fame and what his legacy is. And always interesting when two conference foes, two rivals, schedule a non-conference game against each other. His thoughts on that coming up next.
This is Step Back 3 with MOD. Straightaway 3, it's it. Let's talk college hoops. Let's talk hoops with college basketball analyst Mike O'Donnell.
Mike tuck in for Mark Daniels, UCF luncheon today to kick off the college football season. Mike O'Donnell joining us now in transit. Mike, good morning. How are you?
Oh, Mike Tuck, I'm great, man. Yeah, sorry if there's a loud hum. I apologize. Hopefully it's not too bad. I'm on the Bright Line this morning. It's my first time ever taking the Bright Line. I got a little meeting in West Palm, so it's a very convenient situation right now. It's great. Really enjoy it.
Okay. I was telling CV, he said you were on the Bright Line. I said my wife took it down with one of her friends to go on a cruise down in Miami, but they paid the extra for the free drinking. Hopefully you're not doing that right now.
No, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's great. You know, you got Wi-Fi. You can do work. I mean, just going 100-something miles an hour. It's very convenient. Really like it.
That's awesome.
I'm a train guy now.
They won you over. They got you.
Right.
Look, we all have to accept there are changes in sports. This one is still hard
I don't accept it.
to wrap your head around. But North Carolina and NC State announced they're going to play in Greensboro this upcoming college basketball season, a neutral site game. They're only actually scheduled for one meeting because of the shrinking of the schedule and the bloating of the conference. I was amazed by this. 1919 was the last time they only played one time in a season where they didn't do home and away. I guess, what are your thoughts on maybe it's the effort, maybe it's the fact they're resorting to this, but the fact we're playing this rivalry as a non-conference game?
I'll give you two things. It is absolutely absurd that North Carolina and NC State, both ACC, have to play a game non-conference time that counts as a non-conference game while being in the same conference.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Doesn't make any sense. That's got to get fixed. That is a fantastic rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
The fans want it. The fans love it. And I'm saying that it's ridiculous. It should never happen. You can complain about casual matrices all you want. I understand that. However, there's no reason for North Carolina and NC State not to play each other twice every single year. It's absolutely ridiculous. Having said that, not trying to sound like Jerry Seinfeld, I applaud both teams for making this happen. Now, I am a college campus apologist. I don't like neutral site, big games in college basketball and non-conference. I want them on college campuses. That's just my preference. I think it's better for the game. I understand why these big non-conference matchups happen on neutral sites, locations, but I applaud both schools, both NC State and North Carolina, of making this happen because it's good for the fans, it's good for the players. Twice a year.
Yeah, I am more accepting of it in college hoops because there are so many games. I never thought like Florida and Michigan playing in Dallas never made sense to me when they did that. Like play a home and home in football, but basketball, I'm with you. Like I'd much rather be on campus, but I don't mind the occasional because basketball season's so long.
Effort,
yeah,
but I applaud the effort.
Yeah. Mark Few, notable name that went into college basketball or the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. It's a little more convoluted than simply the NBA one. It's the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame. Obviously, Gonzaga's coach. He's got the best winning percentage all time in college basketball. Certainly a worthy inclusion into the Hall of Fame. How do you capture what he has done at Gonzaga to put it amongst the nation's elite on an annual basis?
It's an improbable feat. You're getting this small school in Spokane, Washington, getting you're getting some of the top high school recruits, you're getting transfers who are looking to transfer to Gonzaga, this small little town in a small school that is totally dominant. They are absolutely dominant across college basketball. He's feared in the recruiting world on the road. His assistant coach is now the head coach at one of his top assistant coaches for years is now the head coach at Arizona. He now has this elite coaching tree of the beginnings of an elite coaching tree. what he has done has been nothing short of spectacular. When you fill out your bracket every single season, Gonzaga is going to be on there. You're going to see Kansas. You're going to see Duke. You're going to see Kentucky. You're going to see North Carolina. And the consistency of winning for decades, not like, man, they've been really good these last 5 years. Decades has been nothing short of improbable to keep that winning going. They're going to win 20 games. They're going to beat big teams in non-conference play. They're going to win games in the NCAA tournament in advance. And I'm still one of those guys. I fall for it every year. I'm like, yes, actually, I could see Gonzaga in the Final Four. Like I could absolutely see that. But I'm still a college basketball geek and apologist enough to where one day I would love to see the Zags and Mark Few win a national title.
Yeah, they've been close, and like you said, it's one thing, and again, consistency and excellence over time. I think of the Temples and the Xaviers, and Butlers, like where schools rise up and they have prominence, but to do what he's done for the longevity in which he's done it, and the fact that they're not the plucky underdog, like they're annually amongst the top 1, 2, 3, 4. They're in that conversation. They're not like, oh yeah, Cinderella. No, they're the giant. They're not.
But they're still
Goliath
winning in the NIL era.
Yes,
there are some big schools in Power 4 conferences, Power 5 conferences that are struggling where otherwise they weren't before the NIL era. And Gonzaga still maintains their consistency of winning and winning at a very high level.
Incredible. This one's a little bit more big and convoluted, but I want to broach it and get your thoughts. Obviously, international players have become even a much bigger factor. We used to just be introduced to them when they came over to the NBA as 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds, and like, all right, see if this guy can play. And occasionally it's Luka, occasionally it's Andrea Bargnani. Like, there's levels to it. But now we're seeing them in college basketball. Watch the Final Four. You got Illinois, you got Arizona, St. John's, and Patino have done an incredible job with that pipeline. Duke and UCLA are rolling in 17-year-olds that can't even turn pro for 2 years. But it's complicated, too, because of that they can be pros over there and get paid over there, and so that part's being looked at and investigated. Just in general, like, how do you feel about this international flavor coming into college hoops the way it has?
I have no issue with international players coming over to the States. But there is a huge asterisk there with that comment, which I'll weave into.
Okay.
The player, I love the international game. I love the complexity of how they run their offenses. If you're getting a player internationally, you have this general assumption, man, that this guy knows how to play. He's going to be able to shoot, dribble, and pass regardless of height, regardless of position. And he's going to know how to navigate the court, even if he's not the best athlete in the world. The asterisk is, I think this can get very convoluted and complex, just like you mentioned, of when can you have an international player? He was maybe pro for a little bit. I just think everything would be, if you played for a pro team, and this goes for also in America.
Right.
if you played for a pro team, you're not eligible to play college basketball. I think FIBA would be ecstatic about that. Ecstatic. I think they would love it. And I think it would simplify the recruiting process in the States as well. I do think sometimes the more complex something can get, a rule needs to be put in place that simplifies it. If you played in the G League, you cannot come back to college basketball. If you played at the B team for Germany, Germany's pro team, you can't come and play college basketball. If you've signed a professional contract, you can't play college basketball. I think you keep it simple. I think it would be agents would be furious, and most of the time when agents are really upset, that usually means it's better for the health of the game.
That's beautifully said. It probably couldn't be more accurate the way you put that. We do need to come up with some rules, and that goes beyond the international part of it. But it's not going anywhere, and I think it's added to the sport, which is fantastic. Enjoy the rest of your trip on the Brightline, Mike, and I imagine a quick trip back as well.
Great. I'm a train guy, Mike.
I love it. I love it. Enjoy it, bud.
Thanks, brother.
All right, Mike O'Donnell at MOD43. Always a great conversation, great insights, and I love the passion, obviously, behind his takes as well. Maybe on the way back he'll
And he's a train
get
guy.
the drink package on the train. On the way down, he's got work to do when he gets down there. Relax on the way back. The news is coming your way next.
Let's really do the news.
Yes. Now it is time to do the news.
But now it's time for the news.
11 o'clock, WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach, FM 96.9 The Game, AM 740 Orlando sports leader. Mike Tuck, Chris Vasquez with Mark Daniels off at UCF for their annual luncheon to kick off the college football season. We'll start with college football with some fun news and then more news to follow. They have announced College Game Day has their first 3 sites to open up the season. They will be in Death Valley in the Battle of the Tigers as the Clemson variety visits the LSU variety
And
to open
Battle
up
of
the
Death
season.
Valleys as well.
Yeah, I already said Death Valley, though, so I doubled down on Tigers. I mean, you don't want to get too wordy and repeat yourself, so... But
Fair
thank
enough.
you for pointing that out.
Fair
Yes,
enough.
very well aware, both Death Valleys. The real Death Valley will emerge, as they say. That's the opening week of the season for College Game Day. Then they will be in Austin, or I'm sure it'll be a party as Ohio State visits Texas. And then LSU and Lane Kiffin go to the Grove in Oxford to take on Ole Miss, which I told you, that might be LeBron returning to Cleveland levels of.
And it's ridiculous how true that might be. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because I mean that in the negative way more than the positive way, frankly. It should be something to get excited about. I'm just afraid it'll boil over with, drunken SEC fans that someone might, I'm not talking about taking Lane Kiffin out, but I mean throwing stuff and doing stupid stuff.
Yeah, they're going to have probably heightened security, which...
Might have to put a net up like baseball, behind the old LSU bench. The other news, and I had to read this one twice, from Pete Thamel and Austin Massey, both reporting this. The 10th Circuit has granted the NCAA's stay request in Wisney versus the NCAA. Judge Sweeney's nationwide injunction is now stayed pending appeal, meaning qualifying class of 2022 athletes lose its federal 5th season protection for now.
They'll find a judge somewhere.
Right.
That's what we do.
Right. Well, the problem is we're starting the season, so they're running out of time to find a judge to grant it.
They'll find one, I'm sure.
It's just the back and forth. The sad thing is maybe it's just I tend to be glass half full, just the way I operate. But the pessimistic side of me shows up that the college athletes fighting for this don't really necessarily, maybe they want to play. I don't want to say they don't, but they're more after hey, I want to get paid a little bit more scratch before my college career ends than caring about trying to be part of a football team.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Although I would say this too. I almost brought this up with KV. I saw this video. The Bucks social media team, maybe you saw it, did it earlier this week. They were having Bucks players. They were signing stuff to sell, the team was or whatever, or auction off. Right.
Baker Mayfield. Signing the rival.
Right. They all handed rival hats and merchandise to all the players to a man were refusing and angry even. So there's a part of you that feels like there's no loyalty in college athletics, but even the well-traveled athletes that bounced around school to school still seem to have some passion for the school they played for and hatred, if you will, for their rival. So that was nice to see.
Well, at least in Baker's defense, he only went to two. I say only went to 2 schools, right? He was only at 2 schools.
Yeah.
Okay, so
he walked on at both.
So he's last 2 years of his career, he was at.
And
Oklahoma.
by the way, Texas Tech doesn't like Texas either, so his works twice.
But I mean, this isn't going to work much longer because you're not going to have someone who's gone to 4 different schools in 4 different years or 5 different schools in 5 different years. Who's their rival? You don't have a rival. You didn't spend anywhere long enough.
I know, but that's what I mean, though. On some level, I was encouraged that. And some of those guys spent their entire time, Ruben Bain, obviously, at Miami versus FSU kind of thing. But
you're not going to.
It at least made me happy. That's all I'm trying to say. The half glass full of me was all right, cool. They actually hate their rivals. That's good to see.
Yeah,
they weren't it's all good. I don't care. I'll sign the Ohio State hat as a Michigan guy.
This trend won't last much longer.
Thank you for emptying the glass, CV.
I'm just saying.
Some news out. Huh?
I'm a realist.
Yeah. Some news out of the NBA. James Harden, 3-year, $97 million deal. We knew it was going to happen. They were just sort of waiting for the whole LeBron thing to play itself out. They also added Peyton Watson in that 5-team deal. Interesting. Peyton Watson's one of those guys that you can sell yourself on based on last year, but a lot of that was Jokic being out and like elevating his game, which a lot of guys do when the opportunity arises. I'm not sure he's as good as the numbers were personally. But it's a low risk, sort of high reward thing for Cleveland, who is still pushing the chips in the middle of the table. I respect that, right? They didn't get LeBron, but on paper, like they're strengthening their team for this upcoming season. What's interesting is he's probably a backup now. I mean,
I was going to say, as great as Harden is, given his age and his lack of defense.
And Watson, I meant not Harden. Harden starts, but Watson because of Mobley and Allen. To be clear, just so everyone understood. Okay. Unless they're going to play Watson at 3, which I don't know if he can do.
Does Harden really improve the Cavs?
Well, that's what we'll measure and how Garland does, because they've given up on Garland and his injuries. But, you know, Harden's obviously one of the greatest offensive weapons in NBA history. Even at his advanced age, he still gets others involved and scores himself and is creative with the ball. You know, the negatives on defense are only going to get larger the older he gets. You know, and Garland's younger. I mean, the Clippers took a calculated risk that he'll get healthy and be a good player, as he has been. We'll see. I'm not betting on Cleveland to make the finals. It feels like they may have had their best window of opportunity. If a Garland and Mitchell backcourt didn't work, I'm not sure a Harden and Mitchell backcourt is going to work either. But we'll see. They're a fun team. They're an exciting team to watch play. Major League Baseball, Cade Anderson, in some people's minds, the number 1 prospect in all of baseball, the number 1 pitching prospect in all of baseball, former number 3 pick a couple of years ago. At Double-A is finally making the jump up to the majors. He had a 1.06 ERA in 93 and a third innings pitch, 135 strikeouts to just 13 walks. He's on my AL-only keeper team. Actually, I don't want him to achieve I want him to keep his rookie status. Long story short, I don't need the pitching help. And, you know, you pitch well, and I'll bring you up next year. But, yeah, it'll be exciting. He's going to pitch this weekend. In fact, tomorrow I think he's scheduled to start for the Mariners. So that's sort of exciting news, as a lot of guys have gotten called up here post-trade deadline. NFL preseason action last night. There were a couple of games that took place. That included Fernando Mendoza with a pick 6. The Raiders fell way behind to the Texans, but rallied in the fourth quarter to win 22-20. And the 49ers blew out the Chargers last night, a game which did not see too many of the starters play if you stayed up for it, 41-17. The Jaguars, they will host Carolina tonight, 7:30 up in Jacksonville. Tomorrow, the Dolphins host the Giants at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the Buccaneers play the Chiefs at home in the evening.
Real quick before we get to the next segment.
Yes.
Can you help me understand Todd Bowles' thinking here by not playing the starters in week 1, but says the starters will play in week 2 in the preseason? Can you help me understand that?
What's the problem?
Why would they not play week 1? Why are you playing them week 2? I don't get it.
I don't know. A lot of teams do that.
Why?
And what's interesting with we always had the pattern down when it was 4, right? The first one, nobody would play. The second one, you might get a sprinkling. The third one was the rehearsal for the starters playing a half. And the fourth one is where you try to figure out who's on the back end of your roster. That was always the formula. With 3, teams do it differently. Some teams don't play anybody. Some teams play guys in the first one. Some play them in the second one. Some play them in the third one. Some don't play them at all. I
didn't understand that logic of thinking. And then why play Baker? He didn't play in the preseason last year.
New OC, Zach Robinson. I mean, he's had a new OC for what it's worth, though, the last 4 years now.
My point.
Like, which is sort of insane. Like, you should have some appreciation for Baker. God knows his whole career.
Yeah.
How many OCs this dude has had? Holy cow, when you think about that, I have to count it up.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to be like sitting on 7 or 8, 9 offensive coordinators at this point.
I can't imagine.
And then you go into Texas Tech and Oklahoma on top of it.
Yeah, I can't imagine he had a steady OC.
This guy's the Dikembe Mutombo of football language. Holy cow. Rest in peace, Mount Mutombo. That like Dikembe spoke 17 languages or something. Yeah, if you didn't know, now you know. I don't know if it's 17. It's a lot of languages. And Baker must know a lot of football languages.
For sure.
That's the underrated part, though. Like how much these guys have to retain
and
not mix it up.
Yeah.
Not mix it up. But yeah, I guess that's my answer.
And how much
Zach Robinson maybe wants them to play. I don't know.
How much of it's all fluff compared to what the actual play is?
Well, all of it matters, I guess. You'd have to talk to the quarterbacks that could explain that better than me. But I mean, they don't just insert stuff in the play call to confuse people. Is that what you're saying? It all matters for formation, motions, routes, where the run's going. Like all of it has some accountability. What's interesting, though, you said Baker's playing. Like their wide receiver room's pretty dinged up. I don't know who's actually going to be out there with him as wide receivers.
From what I saw from Todd Bowles, he said all healthy starters.
Well, I know that seems like it's very few right now for Tampa.
That's just what he
Okay.
had put out there.
All right. Well, that is the news. Our week in the review and studs and duds coming your way next.
Let's take a look back at the week that was. It's the Beat of Sports Week in Review with Mark Daniels.
Chris Vasquez in for Mark Daniels here, hosting the Week in Review. And on Monday, Tuck, we've actually talked about why these college polls matter.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark on Monday explained why they don't matter, but at the same time, they actually do matter.
How many teams that were unranked made the college football playoff?
I'm going to say go 7.
7 is Chris's answer. The answer is 4, and it happened all in 1 year. That was in 2024. The 12-team playoff gave us Arizona State, Boise State, Indiana, and SMU. They are the only teams in the 4-team, now 12-team playoff era to not be ranked and make the playoff. So does today's poll matter? No. And yes, the foundation is laid that even though the College Football Playoff Committee doesn't meet for several weeks, they watch the same coverage that you and I do on game day, on highlights, the week before. And when a little number is placed by somebody's name, the perception is that they're good. It will impact their process of ranking teams when they do start to meet and discuss. So better to be ranked, obviously, than not ranked. And if you're not ranked, and you're not ranked by September, the middle of September, it's really hard, man. It's really, really hard to move up like people think.
Yeah, he's right. I mean, if you always get the benefit of the doubt when you're ranked higher. I mean, you can lose 2, sometimes even 3 games, and if people believed in you as a top 10 team, then they'll kind of keep you as a straggler in the back end of the top 25 versus if you're not ranked, you can be 4-0, 5-0 sometimes before even you'll be visited as a top 25 team if you're not playing anybody early in the season. Right. And like sometimes that's a big factor too. If you go out and beat people early, you're going to find yourself ranked.
Yeah, I mean, it's all subjective.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, I have 2 clips here. I'm going to play one from Ira Kaufman here. He did predict what was going to happen with Vita Vea.
Mm-hmm.
The Bucks ended up giving him more money. They essentially gave him a 1-year extension, though the second year, the next year is not guaranteed. So he gets more money this year. But he also talked about the future of Baker Mayfield.
This team, I think they can go 7-10 just as soon as they can go 10-7. And I wouldn't have said that a year ago, Marcus. The arrow was pointing up. They went from 8 wins to 9, from 9 to 10, and then they regressed. You can blame it on injuries, especially on the O-line. Say what you want. But they fell apart down the stretch. They absolutely did. And that's why you've seen the overhaul on this defense. They're giving this one more shot. Mark, I'm telling you, if it's 7-10, they're going to blow some things up. I think Light survives, but I think Bowles would certainly be out at that time. Mayfield's not going anywhere, in my opinion, Mark. His picture's on the building. His face is on the front of the media guide. If he throws 35 touchdowns, they win 9 or 10 games and win the division, they're going to give him what he wants. And even if it's $55 million, so be it. Mark, you make sacrifices for the quarterback. You don't do it for the left guard, but you do it for the quarterback. And I just don't think Mayfield's going anywhere.
It's hard to replace the quarterback. So while you could do a reset if you wanted to, and look, the other challenge that we just brought up with Mayfield, like if they do fire Bowles, doesn't mean Zach Robinson, unless you're going to promote him. Like that means another OC is going to come in or a new head coach that's the OC. Like, so it presents another challenge. They were 6-2 last year. They lost 7 of the last 9 games. Like they fell off the rail. They were the opposite. They passed in the night with Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville was 5-4, and then won 8 in a row to end the year. And Tampa Bay, like, nope, we're going the other direction. And he's right. Like I think Ira's right on. Like they could go. They could even win 11 games. Like there's nothing to think that they can't be. I love the offensive line. I think the defensive additions look really good. Like there's some reason to be enthusiastic. The Bucs could win a dozen games this year.
I'm not high on their receiver room. I don't think they did enough to kind of replace what Mike Evans brought. And yes, he was hurt last year. He missed a lot of time. But how do you replace that? How do you replace what he did? We saw the split from the first half to the second half of the Mecca Buka.
Mm-hmm.
He completely disappeared.
He also got hurt, which if you like, I literally did a deep dive on that. Like his miles per hour on his routes significantly changed when he hurt. I think it was his ankle last year. Like Baker getting hurt like impacted the way he played the second half of the season. I think a lot of that played into the way they played. I don't disagree with you, but if the offensive line's good, that means you're going to run the ball better, which means it's going to set up the pass better, and I think the defense will be better. The Bucs could go 7-10, but I think a dozen wins is possible too.
So my question is, because I related out 35 touchdowns, 9-10 wins, and a division title, Baker's getting what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
But what if they go 8-9 again?
It's a
what
tough
if he only
decision.
throws 20 touchdowns, 14 picks?
Right.
What do you do?
Well, yeah, if he plays poorly, it's going to make it easier. But if he plays well enough and the team loses, you could reset everything else and keep the quarterback. Because if you keep the quarterback, it keeps you in
But
position.
are you still giving him $55 million?
It depends on how
Are you
well he
still
plays.
giving him what he
You are
wants?
literally allowing him to dictate his price tag. And it is, to some level, what others will pay him. Because Pittsburgh will probably look for a new quarterback, right? We already sort of know that, unless, like, Rodgers gets hurt and Giroux, plays out of his mind. Like, there are situations where we know teams are going to be looking at a quarterback.
Moving to Wednesday, we had Brett Ciancia on Pick Six Previews. He was fantastic. Of course, we know the top two conferences in college football, the Big Ten and the SEC. However you want to order them, that's on you. But I did ask him which conference is deeper between the ACC and the Big 12.
With the ACC, I think Miami is the best of either conference. I think that's your best national title contender. Texas Tech is kind of close, though. I really like the talent they've brought into there. Huge transfer class after huge transfer class. A lot of future NFLers. I think they're number one. I know it's early for this, but if you're looking at an NFL draft watch list, the East-West Shrine Bowl puts out 1,000 list. Texas Tech has the most draftable prospects of anybody in the country. So I think both leagues have a strong team at the top, Miami from the ACC, Texas Tech from the Big 12. But I like the Big 12's depth better. I think that they have a lot more teams on my top 40 board. Maybe not your playoff contenders, but a tough out every Saturday. Their stadiums are rocking and rolling. You can't say that in some of these ACC stadiums. You watch a Wake Forest game, a Boston College game. I mean, they're quiet, and the teams are really struggling, at least in BC's sake. So I'll go Big 12 as the slightly better conference, but those are definitely on the same tier. You have your Big 10 SEC at the top, then you have a little gap there. Then you've got your Big 12 and ACC. And
that's a fair presentation. I think the season will play itself out, and we'll make that determination. It's close enough that I wouldn't be mad if you argued either side. The Tech thing's an interesting one because they did lose so much NFL talent. I think the initial reaction is, well, how does Tech replace both defensive ends, like just studs, like Jacob Rodriguez, one of the best
you
linebackers.
just have Cody Campbell shell out however much money.
I know, but we say
in.
that, and I get that pessimism. But I'd be quick to point out Ohio State and Georgia are doing the same thing. We're just accustomed to them being able to recruit guys. They're paying just as much, and we don't criticize them, right? I'm not yet mad at you, but I hear that all the time. Well, Tech's just paying for them. What do you think? Ohio State's just offering, like, food stamps? Like, they're spending $40 million, too, for great players. Texas Tech's just doing the same thing. They're just not used to they're the new people in the neighborhood. They're like, I don't know if you belong in this neighborhood. That's the problem we have with Tech. For the record, though, I've been picking Houston to win the Big 12.
Pick Six previews, again, for Brett Ciancia. And then yesterday, Mark Daniels talking about how UCF, they need to jumpstart that brand again. They need to get the buzz going here for UCF.
You've got to create some buzz. And here's how fast it can turn. And I brought this up before, Chris, like we've talked about it. A Super League 3 years ago would have included Indiana? Huh?
No.
Now it's like, of course. So it can change quickly, but you got to start doing that. Because here's how fast it can change also. Iowa State a couple of years ago, Matt Campbell is an NFL candidate for jobs and everything. They're winning games like they never won before. Now he's gone, and they may be the worst team in the Big 12 this year. That's how fast it can change. But they've got to start getting a little bit buzz. They need Alonzo Barnett to be really good. They need some wins against teams maybe you're not thinking they're supposed to beat. Because you've got to get some momentum where all of a sudden you become on the radar again. And that means winning 8-9 games. That means 9-10. That means starting to be in the hunt. Because if something does happen, and no one knows, whatever anybody tells you, they don't know, but no one knows. But if something does begin to percolate, and that may be, hey, Power 4 breakaway, okay? Make sure, you're saying you're part of that. No, we got this new idea of, we're going to pluck 48 teams. Well, you better make sure you're doing something to justify being part of that.
I'll tell you, like, there's always parts and pieces that go into a team's like surprise turnaround. But the ultimate cure-all is the quarterback. If you get the quarterback right, everything else tends to fall into place. So no pressure, Alonzo Barnett. But if he plays well, then suddenly UCF could be very relevant, and that has a tendency to spiral for you positively or negatively. If they don't, like, you could end up flatlining. If they play well, then suddenly recruiting tends to pick up. Like, you're getting people's attention.
Well, and it wasn't in this clip, but he did mention the health of Alonzo Barnett, keeping him healthy and keeping him upright, which is what you want to see.
Right.
Protect the quarterback, keep him healthy, give him time to read the field. That is the week in review.
Stud of the week.
We talked about it earlier with Ira Kaufman here. Vita Vea. The fact that he demanded a trade, but he wasn't a distraction. These guys got together, Vita Vea and the Bucks. They got together. They were able to work something out. And now Vita Vea is in Tampa for at least one more year. I was completely wrong. I'll admit I was wrong. And I'm not mad at it. I didn't think Vita Vea was going to take a snap this year for the Bucks. It seemed like things were leaning towards dysfunction. It was going to cause a problem, drama, issues, distraction, whatever it is. They handled it like adults. We don't do that anymore. We don't handle things like adults. Vita Vea, the Bucks, they handled everything like adults. Glad to see we can still do that. Vita Vea and the Bucks, my studs of the week.
My stud of the week is when we play 150 years of baseball, and nobody ever has until Joshua Baez did on Sunday, hit 3 home runs to start their major league career. You, sir, are an absolute dog. You are the stud of the week. Joshua Baez of the St. Louis Cardinals, who is a power speed merchant in the outfield. I know he struggled a little bit after Sunday, although he did have 2 steals the other day. I may or may not have him on my fantasy baseball team. Wow, though. Like, seriously, 3 home runs to start your career is insane. That is bonkers.
Stud of the week.
I feel like I'm a broken record here. College athletics, judges, what the hell are we doing? What are we doing? 16 players who did not have eligibility granted the temporary restraining order. Guys who played in a preseason game in the NFL, who took a signing bonus, who took NFL money, are being allowed to go back to college? What are we doing? Is this real? Like, come on. I don't know if we need judges to grow a pair. I don't know if we need these college teams to finally grow a conscience and be like, no, we can't keep doing this. Rules are rules. Obey the rules that are put in place. That I believe, did these teams not vote for them?
They did. I
So
mean,
then what are we doing?
I'm not arguing with you. You're 100% right, man.
Judges in college athletics, my duds of the week.
All right, I'm gonna go. I actually changed my direction midstream here because one pigeons into another and like plays off of that a little bit. Royce White declared himself eligible for the WNBA draft. The former NBA player who can't fly. They do actually take planes in the WNBA. He put a wig on and he's, making a mockery of the whole transgender thing. Which again, you can even agree that shouldn't be but we shouldn't be rooting on Royce White or Enes Kanter, read them for making a mockery of it, because we are getting close to when you say judges from the 45-year-old who misses playing in high school to decide with his mustache and beard and cigarette in his mouth to play high school football next season. Like, that's, we're paying NIL. Why not? It might pay better than the job down at the factory. Go play some high school football for your local high school football team if you're 28 and still in good shape. I mean, that's where we're heading with some of this stuff. We're just making a joke of it all.
It's ridiculous.
All right, that does it for our week in review. What is coming up in football? Look, you know what's absent from all the storylines in college football that we've had really heavy for the last couple of years that we don't this year? I'm going to share it with you next.
Ready for more sports talk? Of course you are. In for Mark Daniels, here's Mike Todd.
Media Sports FM 96.9, the game AM 740, Orlando sports leader, online, streaming at YouTube with 96.9 Game On. Chris Vasquez here. Been a lot of fun this morning. Very busy morning. Mark Daniels off with the UCF luncheon. He'll be back on Monday. And always appreciate Mark allowing me the opportunity to sit in here with you guys. There is a notably absent storyline for this upcoming college football season.
What's that?
You think of the last 2 years, we've been consumed with Deion Sanders, Bill Belichick. We don't have that coach that we are like all in, very curious, wondering what's going to happen. That just is not a thing this year. And in fact, the sort of interesting thing with Deion and Bill is wondering whether they'll make it past this year. Neither team is projected to do very well. And to me, it's sort of an interesting, like, all right, like there's a lot of new coaches and new places, coaches that were fired that went somewhere else, coaches that have climbed the ladder and could make really splashy starts. But there isn't that, like, we just got to see how this story plays itself out. The coach is big, larger than life situation that exists in college football for this upcoming season. I just thought about that over the summer, actually. I didn't even bring it to the table till now, but was like, yeah, that's sort of interesting that in the last couple of years, that's what we've had as major focal points. Even North Carolina leading off last season, and Colorado the year before that leading off the season in major marquee games, notably absent to start this college football season. We now have Kurt on the line from Maxine's Onshine. Good morning, Kurt. How are you, my friend?
I am truly outstanding on this wonderful Friday, Mr. Tuck. Thank you kindly. It's great to speak with you and Chris again. And a happy Friday to all the listeners out there.
You know what I actually liked as I was walking my dogs this morning before coming into the radio show is that it actually wasn't sweltering hot. Like, it actually felt a little like fall this morning. That felt good.
Very good. Very good. And you didn't have to urge your dog to do its duties.
No, they can handle that.
Hey. Yeah. And you had to get him. You didn't urge him to get it done in like 2 minutes. You gave him actually 5 minutes. Yeah, it was not too bad. Oh, brother, and speaking of the sweltering heat, I just want to let everybody know. We just got a brand new, ginormous ice machine that is making gorgeous, gorgeous chips of ice. Now you might say, hey, Kurt, well, we're assuming most restaurants have ice. Yes, but you do. But last Friday when I was going to call into Mark and to Chris, my ice machine blew up on me.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Oh, that was rough. That was really rough. So we had to get that taken care of. We did throughout the week, but now, man, I've got this giant machine. So when you're sitting outside, people are like, what are you even talking about sitting outside? Well, Mike, I got to tell you, because one of the 4 awards we just won in the Orlando Weekly Best of.
Congratulations.
Thank you, brother. One of them was Best Outdoor Dining. We do have our outdoor covered garden patio area, and I've got a bunch of swamp coolers out there. And those swamp coolers are amazing when you can load them up with ice and water, put those in the bottom of them. They got a little water pump. They send water up over the back of that fan. So they blow out really nice cool air, cold air, especially when they're packed with ice, and no misting. So you ain't getting any of that little foamy, humid kind of feeling going on with that. So it was really important that we got that done because we always promise to take care of our guests. And look, man, if you want to do a little outdoor dining, we're going to drop that temperature table side for you by 10 to 15 degrees when you're sitting out there. So, so I can appreciate the reference to the heat and everything. Dear Lord, it's hot. It's real hot. It ain't never been this hot. Yeah.
I know something's hot on the grill over there. What you got cooking?
Yeah, brother. Well, hey, as we are now hitting, we've just completed week 1 of Magical Dining. Thank you to everybody that's come out to make it such an exceptionally tremendous start to Magical Dining. For those of you that somehow or another missed out on, say, Kurt, Mike, Chris, tell me, what's Magical Dining? Hey, y'all, this is the biggest foodie lover event of the year. It's a 3-course meal in our case for $40 a person. It's about a 30% savings off of the regular menu. It's about a portion of the proceeds go to benefit charities. This year, it's OCA, and what they do is they help out folks that have autism and other learning disabilities that are out there. So a portion of all the money that you're going to be putting into this Magical Dining, besides getting a fantastic meal, is going to a great cause that benefits folks here in the Orlando area. Mike, we're being told consistently across the board, We got one of the best menus, brother. I am always in it to win it, just like my fantasy football teams. I know you guys have been talking a little fantasy, I'm sure. Anyway, guys, and if you haven't made your fantasy football drafts yet and you're still looking for a place, I got room for you. The commish gets a free meal when you come in and do that thing. Now let's get back to Magical Dining. Our previously recorded advertising is done on fantasy football. All right, Magical Dining there, 3-course meal, $40 a person, 30% savings. Tonight's seasonal catch is Chilean sea bass. Who's going to be giving you Chilean sea bass on a Magical Dining menu for $40? Oh, that's right, nobody in town. We're going to do that with a gorgeous saffron, one of the world's most pricey and beautiful spices, a saffron lemon beurre blanc sauce over that, just ladled right over the top, sitting on a bed of a sweet potato mash, little green beans and carrots on the side of it. The number 2 runner tonight that's been running the last couple nights, our Wagyu filet of sirloin. Yes, it's a top sirloin. What we do is we cut a fillet out of that. It's a nice fat daddy cut, really nice and tender. Going to ladle au poivre over top about that 6 to 7 ounce piece of filet of sirloin. And hey, and if you say, Kurt, I love filet of sirloin, that sounds great, but I'm really a filet mignon guy. Well, this year in Magical Dining, you can do an upgrade for $15 on a couple of our items. So you can take that filet of sirloin, turn it into a filet mignon.
Delicious.
Now, there you go. See, everybody get out your napkins now. Dab the edge of your mouths. Yeah, get that little drool that's dripping out of there. Absolutely beautiful buttery filet. Same preparation. Get the au poivre, the chive mashed potatoes in with that. Really, really beautiful. Chef's feature this week, his magical mystery meal is going to be a 12-ounce bone-in pork chop with an apple bordelaise sauce over top of it. Brother, I took one of these things home the other night, and it was just like, yum, yum, get me some. My wife said, I've never seen you eat so slow. I'm like, honey, I got to savor every bite on this thing. It is so doggone good. So those are some of the entrees in there. Appetizers, we got a famous Maxine's combo, our fried green tomato. I challenge anybody out there, find a better fried green tomato or a Key West crab cake in Orlando. Now, you ain't going to do it, but you're going to not just want to take my word for it by listening to me on air. You come in and you get that appetizer, you're going to find out why we consistently get told these are the best fried green tomatoes and crab cakes we've ever had in our life. If you want to stick with that seafood theme, the conch chowder. Oh, man, you talk about a great summertime soup. Man, fresh conch in there, some end cuts off the Chilean sea bass being added in as the fish with it. Absolutely beautiful. Got 3 other apps for you to pick from. On our desserts tonight, caramel sea salt cheesecake is the fresh baked cheesecake of the week. We got, of course, key lime pie. You can't go out in Florida and not have key lime pie in the summertime. Or fresh berries with the Romanoff, a cognac infused cream sauce on it. Man, got one of the best doggone menus in town, we promise you. The best thing that people want to do, though, you definitely want to make a reservation when you're coming to our restaurant or any other restaurant for Magical Dining. Make that reservation. Restaurants get really packed out. We don't like to do the turn and burn. You got 2 hours for your dinner experience, so you're going to have a great time, whether it be with your wife, your friends, your fantasy football players in your league, that kind of thing. You'll have a wonderful time with that. Live music on the weekends, Rejuvenation Brunch going on right now, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, live music, and we're open on Tuesday nights for Magical Dining with live music too. Thank you to everybody that voted for us for Orlando Weekly Best Of. We got Best Downtown Restaurant, Best Outdoor Dining, Best Brunch, and Best Bloody Mary. We'd love for you to come find out. If you don't know why, and those that you do and voted for us, thank you so very much. Mike, I know you guys got a lot to do. Thanks for letting me ramble on. I look forward to seeing you in sometime soon. Chris, sometime soon. Everybody have a blessed weekend. Good luck on your drafts, and good luck to your teams. And football season's back, but so is Magical Dining. We need to see you.
Love
Thanks,
it,
guys.
Kurt.
Do it for now.
Love it, buddy.
Thank you, brother.
Winner, winner. Chilean sea bass dinner. Back to wrap things up next year on the Beat of Sports.
Time for the latest news, gossip, trends, and off-the-wall stories. Trends.
That's the craziest thing I ever heard.
It's become a thing in college football, so I'm sort of fascinated where it goes this year. We've had Jaden Daniels, we've had Cam Ward, we've had Fernando Mendoza, 3 guys that transferred in from completely off the radar from like fringe NFL prospect to top of the draft board with those 3 guys. I mean, there is just a plethora of guys that could fit that mold this year because other than Arch, who keeps getting brought up and really hasn't done a whole lot yet at Texas, who isn't a transfer, there's a ton of guys that could slot in. I mean, you look at just the polls, and I realize Julian Sain didn't actually play at Alabama, but he's a transfer. Oregon's got 2 transfers. Indiana's got a transfer starter. Miami's got a transfer starter. Oklahoma's got a transfer starter. Ole Miss a transfer starter. Like, it's just, you go down the list there. Everyone's got transfer starters. There's very few Gunnar Stocktons of the world or CJ Carrs of the world.
I don't imagine we're going to have many, we'll say, second-year vets at colleges.
You almost have to play as a freshman and hit it and then just stick around because you're really good.
And I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Anytime soon.
It's not happening like it used to. That's for sure. It's another adjustment, but usually we've seen good results. Like, again, a lot of players have really emerged with that. So that's been a positive, I think, of the portal. All right, CV, appreciate your time today, buddy. Good luck with the tattoo.
Thank you, Tuck. Appreciate it.
You guys have a wonderful weekend. Can't wait for the football season to kick off. I will see you when I see you. Peace.